Hi, welcome to This Learning with Loden. I have with me today, for a lot of you, will be a familiar face, and some of you will be a new face, but we have Delbert Shiver.
Yes.
And he's one of our teachers in our district. And Delbert, we're wanting to do something a little different. We've got a few teachers in our district that are non-traditional. Yeah. And I know there's people in the community that may be thinking, you know, I was in college, I wanted to go and be a teacher, people talked me out of it, or I decided I wanted to do something, make more money, and now they may be in their 30s or 40s and thinking, I really wish I'd been a teacher.
Sure.
And you shared a little about your journey, but you were in the business world, you were doing all kinds of things, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's kind of like, I really want to make a difference in the world.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, just after, working in, the corporate world for a while, I just felt that I wasn't, filling my own bucket. I didn't feel satisfied in what I was doing, and I wanted to make a difference in the world. So,
with you giving up the corporate side,
yeah.
You started off as a para, then you were a sign language interpreter.
Yes, I started as a sign language interpreter in 2016, and then when I decided to become a teacher, after my student teaching, which was with NICSA, I got a job as a paraprofessional. Because as soon as I was done student teaching, I was like, I need a job so I can get money, because we don't make money when we're student teaching.
That's right.
And I thought a paraprofessional would be great, because then I can see that side of the special education and be right back with NICSA, because that's where I wanted to be anyway. And
then we hired you as a teacher once you had everything in order, and you've been teaching for 2 years now?
This is my second year in the classroom as a fourth grade teacher.
So you're teaching fourth grade at Matthews?
Yes.
And is it filling your bucket?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely filling my bucket.
I mean, you need to watch the video, because you just started smiling like everything when you said that. So you were in the corporate world and you were doing well as far as what the world would say, but you felt like inside, I really want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And you got in working with kids, figured out, okay, I really like working with kids, and now you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, honestly, what's funny is that when I made the decision to become a sign language interpreter, it was not with the intention of working at a school, because in my mind, I wasn't good at working with kids, and that's not where I wanted to be. I just wanted to be a sign language interpreter because that was how I was going to make a difference. But I got the job at NICSA and loved it, and then I thought, I really actually like working in a school and work with kids. And so after several years, and it was after COVID, right? After COVID, there was just a lot of weird stuff and some changes, and I just started thinking, how can I make a bigger impact? Because in interpreting, it's a lot of one-on-one. We're working with this individual, and I wanted to impact even more. So I thought I could have my own classroom.
So instead of one child or working with a few here or there, now you have a classroom.
Exactly.
I know the feedback is that you do a wonderful job connecting with the parents and really love parents, and they seem to connect with you.
Well, I mean, I do enjoy working with people, and I understand, like, as a parent myself, how important it is for a teacher to be invested in their child and to actually want to be a teacher, and they're not just there, going through the motions. So, excuse me. So as a parent myself, I think it's easy to relate to those parents, because I know exactly what they're thinking and what they're going through whenever their child, may be having issues at school, or, whatever it is that they, need some help with.
Now, something I will throw out, because things have changed fast since COVID. Like, you were going to be a para. You didn't get paid technically for student teaching.
Right.
Now we have our Pathways to Para program, where most of our paras are going to work with special needs students. But we have our program where you get paid, you have the retirement, you have the insurance, and we have a Pathways to Para program through Missouri State, where you actually can go to school for like almost no cost and get your degree. And then we can hire you, and you can do the student teaching and get paid.
Yeah, when that program came about, it did kind of start making me. It made me start thinking about, could I go down this path? And that was while I was a sign language interpreter. So I went back and forth with that idea. I decided to go through WGU, which is an online college.
Very good program.
And it was a great program. But Pathways to Para, I love that we're giving those paraprofessionals an opportunity to get there as teachers, because I know a lot of paraprofessionals that they really go above and beyond, honestly, outside of their job description. And that's just kind of, I think, who we are as educators. And so we've got a lot of paras in the district that are going to make great teachers for sure.
So if you're an adult and you're watching this, maybe a parent of one of our students or community member, you're thinking, I really would like to know more about teaching. Our HR department can help you, but there's Grand Canyon, there's WGU, there's places out there where maybe if you have a degree or you don't have a degree and need to finish it, where you can do it online so you can still have your job. Mm-hmm. You have our programs where we can hire you to be a para and then you can work through to get a degree. If you already have a degree, there's some excellent alternative route programs where you can add the certification on, and you can actually, in some situations, start teaching now while you add the certification. And then if a person's wanting to work on their master's, we have multiple programs for curriculum to admin that are very low cost to get your master's degree.
Yeah.
And once you're in education, you don't have to, knock on wood right now, you don't have to worry about robots or AI replacing your job. And we're a human-centric field. True. And it doesn't mean that AI won't help us to have better tutorial and enrichment and things, but you have quality retirement, you have good insurance, and it's just a great profession. You're never going to make as much as in the private sector, even with a retirement, but at the end of the day, you're helping that next generation. Yeah. Connecting the dots for a lot of kids, that we're our best hope. We're their best hope.
That's very well put, and there's a lot of kids out there who just need a good role model in their life, and so I'm happy to at least be something that's good in a lot of students' lives.
And that's one thing I'll say, like my own journey, my kids' journeys, you always have teachers, and there's some that you connect with a little better than others, but when you can say on your journey you had some that you just connected with and you'll do anything they want you to do, they can change your life. They can really change your life and help you to see things you would never see on your own. And you're one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. I try not to think about that too much, just get in there and do what I got to do. But honestly, yes, we are making a lot of connections with these kids. We're with them, almost 8 hours a day. And so you better believe that we're, making a difference in their lives.
And as a teacher, it doesn't take a lot. When you've taught something and someone's not getting it, then the lights come on, they connect the dots, and okay, they started off in the fall here, now they're leaving me this way and they're ready for the next grade. That's very fulfilling.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the students, they don't look at data the same way I do. And I say, oh my gosh, you grew 20% over the course of 2 months. They're like, okay, great. But they make connections with their friends in school and learn all of those social situations and things like that we as teachers also are there teaching them. And so for those students, even if they don't remember the lessons or specifically, they're going to remember, how we treat them, and they're going to remember some of the good lessons that we taught them about just how to treat their friends and things like that.
I am glad you said that, because when you look at the jobs of the future, our children at the elementaries, the bulk of the jobs are not even here yet. But when you look over and over, like our Portrait of Eagles, soft skills, working together, being able to show empathy, being able to respect the diversity in others' ideas, thoughts, because you may be on a Zoom call with a team, like a friend of mine, he's managing a team where he has people from India, Mexico, and Canada, and the United States all on his team.
Okay.
And they're so different with the cultures and trying to blend everything together, but harnessing that power together.
That is true. You do build that community in the classroom, and you have a lot of diversified students, depending on just a lot of different backgrounds and where they come from. So it's definitely a good place to teach them how to respect each other's differences as well.
So Delbert, as far as checking the boxes, you wanted to make a difference and know you were helping others.
Yeah.
That box has been checked and you're fulfilled.
I do feel that box has been checked, but then, every year I get to check it again.
Every year. And you keep getting better every year.
I do feel so. I mean, this is my second year as a teacher, and I feel that even as just my second year, like I've really got a good feel for it, and also I have a really good team. Nix is a good place to work. And it really did help being in the school district for since 2016, before I decided to become a teacher. But I will tell you that even though I was in lots and lots of different classrooms, right, kindergarten through high school, I still didn't know, how much work it was to be a teacher until I was actually doing that job. But it's still the job that I want to do, even though I realized it is a lot that we do. And
I'm glad you said that, because at times people outside profession go, oh, the teachers have all this time off. Well, when you look at the hours, an effective teacher, a really good teacher, is going to spend as many hours as someone 40 hours a week all year in the time we're here. My dad did not graduate high school, and my aunt was a teacher, and he would pick at her, oh, you're off. When I started teaching, he would be like, he's in there every night to 9 and 10 o'clock working. And if you're going to do your job and do it well so you connect with your kids, you're putting extra time in. You're making phone calls. You're planning. You have a planning period. It's not enough time if you're doing it right, especially the first few years where you're trying just to learn the ropes.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I would say that's different, it's not the days of old where a teacher gets a book and you say, go forth and teach. We have, similar to the professional world where you have lean or Kaizen, we have the old quality circle model. It's called a professional learning community. So when you're hired, you'll have a mentor. We have instructional coaches that check in on you to help you. And then we have our PLCs where you work together in a team. And, we can assign and think we've got a great mentor for you, but also when you get in that team, a new teacher's contributing to the team. And also when you're struggling in an area, you have people to connect with that are really good in the area that can help you.
Yes, in today's world, teaching is definitely a lot different, and we do have a lot of tools to help us with the planning. So I do also feel like I have a good work-life balance, though. I get to work about 7:45, and then, if it hits 5 o'clock, I do make myself leave because, my family is equally, if not more, important to me, to make sure that I'm spending that time with them.
Because if you hyper focus, you can never turn it off.
Yeah, right. But as teachers, we definitely, our heart is in it, and if your heart's not in it, honestly, then being a teacher is not for you.
I would not want to be in this profession if you don't like what you do and enjoy it every day. And love the people you're around.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything, before we wrap up, anything you would like to add that we haven't talked about?
I just want to make sure that people understand that when they, come to Nixa, that you're not working on an island. You're not by yourself, because like you said, we've got those professional learning communities and those mentors. And I really do feel like, even though, people knew, Delbert's been with the district for a while, they didn't look at me and say, so you're fine, you know what you're doing.
Oh, no.
It was, here's how we do things, and here's why we do those things. And I feel like I have a lot of support, where at other schools I hear other teachers talk about how they may not have as much support, and it's much more difficult for them to get their jobs done.
One thing that you will see, and it's like with me personally, I'm not the perfect superintendent. I know I have blind spots. Well, we have people that are really, really, really good teachers who are not afraid to say, I'm not as comfy in this area and I want to grow in this area. And there's nothing wrong with that. 100%. And we have a culture where we're willing to help each other and be vulnerable with each other. If someone is an alpha male, they're probably going to want to be in a small district where they're the only teacher, because here everyone works together. Yep. That's an expectation of all of us.
Oh, absolutely. We're always learning as teachers. That's what you have to understand.
Not afraid to make a mistake. Not afraid to make mistakes and say it didn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. Always knowing that, someone else might have a better idea than you, and that's okay. And sometimes I may take the lead on something and someone else may take the lead on something. So we definitely work together very, very well.
Oh, yeah. And one thing I've learned, teachers is steal from each other. So if you try something different, like you plan together, you know the content, but you teach it your way.
Yeah.
Well, if we come back and I've got a good lesson, but your kids are doing so much better, I want to be like, Delbert, how did you do that? Can I come and watch you? Will you come and teach that for my kids? And we're here for each other to learn. And that's control. I call it controlled innovation, because they're always learning, always growing, and not afraid to take a risk.
Yeah, 100%. We'll share our Google Slides with each other, and sometimes I'll be like, hey, can I just borrow that slide? Sure, there we go. And so
tweak it, make it your own.
Always, absolutely. So yeah, we're definitely not afraid to share our ideas. We don't keep those to ourselves.
No. Well, thanks for being with me today, and I hope you all have enjoyed our show today. And if you're interested, thinking, hey, I might want to make a career change, a midlife change, please reach out to us. We have our HR department, be glad to help you. We have other teachers and principals, be glad to share more with you about the profession, because it is a great profession. And every career starts through the schools with kids learning and having great role models to help them on their journey.
Yep.
So thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.